Greetings and welcome to STEM Inspired, where we utilize personal stories and experiences to interest the possibility of a STEM profession in adolescence. I'm your host, Jacob Zendejas. Today on the show we have a civil engineer. He's a surfer and a skier, and as a child he loved to build water barriers of sand at the beach. And his love for building things and exploration led to his career today. Please give a warm welcome to Tyler Klein.
Could you tell us your name and what you do for a living?
My name is Tyler Klein, and I'm a civil engineer in training right now.
What is it like to go to work every day?
Usually start with some emails in the morning. Right now, I have a lot of projects in construction, and when we have issues with those, you address those first. We're working on a lot of school projects right now. Yeah, a lot of projects down in Malibu. So we're working on Pepperdine University right now and Malibu High School. They're both doing improvements to their campus, and those are both either in construction or entering construction right now.
Okay, awesome. And what is the best part about your profession?
It's unique and it's challenging. So it's not always comfortable, but it keeps you on your toes, and you never really know what you're going to get the next day. And when it's interesting like that, it's fun to go to work.
What is rewarding about your profession?
Rewarding is seeing your projects through construction and then going into use, and then being able to use them as just a citizen of your community.
Yeah.
And then when you see other people enjoying the facilities or area that you took part in creating, it's pretty special. And just having a part in making your community a better place is definitely rewarding.
And when you were growing up, was like kind of the outdoors something very special to you, or something that you enjoyed doing?
Yeah, absolutely. I always enjoyed being outdoors. Oregon is a great place to grow up and just enjoy the outdoors, whether it's the coast or the mountains.
Interesting. And what kind of hobbies did you do when you were younger?
I surfed and skied, just those outdoor activities. Yeah, I grew up on the coast, so I spent a lot of time at the beach.
Interesting. And when you were younger, around 8 to 14, what did you imagine you would do for work?
8 to 14. That was probably about the time that I started looking at engineering. My uncle is a civil engineer, so I kind of always got to look up to him and kind of think like, oh yeah, that's cool. So even from a young age, I kind of started down that direction and realized, he's like I didn't have to end up as a civil engineer, but I thought it was a good direction to start heading even at that age.
And what sparked your interest with engineering when you're looking up to your uncle?
I just I liked putting things together and just building things. So whether it was Legos or Lincoln Logs, it was really fun just constructing things. I remember at the beach, there'd be like a creek, and I'd like try and dam it up, and it was always a challenge. But it was fun, and I think some of those experiences kind of set the groundwork for my career later in life, because I had a better understanding of hey, I was at the beach and I was trying to create a dam, but I was using sand, and that wasn't a good material. So when I was actually in college and learning about hydraulic conductivity, things clicked a little bit easier because I had that hands-on experience when I was younger.
Yeah, definitely. And when did you start finding your interest for just hands-on things and just building things, even dams in the sand?
Yeah, pretty young age. I just really liked exploring and problem solving and just challenging myself. Even if I could do something one way, it's like, okay, well, I did that and I succeeded. Now I want to push the envelope, and I want to try and build it bigger, or try and do it a different way. And just not, content with, okay, I just want to do it a little bit better.
Yeah. Okay. And how was your experience in school growing up with science, mathematics, things like that? Were those some of your interests at a very young age?
Yeah. I definitely enjoyed those subjects. They're not always a blast. Sometimes it can be a little bit frustrating. But I think an important part is how you address challenges. When something's difficult, do you stop and turn around, or do you problem solve and how do I get through this? How do I get past it? What do I need to do?
Can you tell me about a mentor that had the biggest influence in your life?
Probably my uncle, just because he was already a civil engineer, so he was kind of following in his footsteps. And my cousin, his son, was actually an engineer and surveyor too. Mm-hmm. So he's about 10 years older than me, so it kind of just steps down there. So the footprints, I guess, are pretty fresh. And it's funny because we all went to Oregon State, and we all have professors in common, actually, that we had in school. So it's funny to talk about that. He's taught me a fair amount about attention to detail. Sometimes, when you're overwhelmed, it's easy to let things slip, fall through the cracks, but it doesn't look good when you look back on it and something was missed. So everyone wants their project done yesterday, and of course under budget, but you got to think long term and make sure it's done right. I think it's one of the biggest takeaways I've heard from him, and he's been in the industry for a while now. So
okay. Yeah, definitely. I think it's more about efficiency. People want efficiency, but then also quality and safety for other people.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the project's gonna get built. Don't worry. Let's get it right.
So is a safety is like one of the top priorities for you in your profession?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I hope it is for everyone in this profession.
Definitely. And so when you were younger, you were very hands-on, and then you saw your uncle. And it really kind of was it just like an interest, like, oh, that's cool what you do, or anything? Did you see any projects that maybe he was building when he was younger, or anything that really just made you like, oh, maybe I should try that out, go to school for that, or anything?
Specific projects, or?
Yeah, or anything that's caught your eye that, it was like, wow, that's pretty interesting. Maybe this might be a career choice.
Yeah, I remember him showing me plans, and it was just like mind-boggling to go through these just huge stacks of giant plans, and it's like, wow, look at like all this detail and all the work that goes into it. It's crazy because I think a lot of people don't realize how much work goes into buildings or streets or whatever it may be. And I think too, seeing his projects, and it was just pretty inspiring, and seeing them go into construction and be built, is to be able to put your mark on an area. I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely. It kind of was it like to just see the plans, the layout for things, and just see it eventually be built? Was that something that was like a big moment, just to kind of see it come to light from plans to start to finish?
Yeah, I remember his firm was working on the renovation of a soccer stadium up in Portland. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah. Did you have also like any maybe other jobs when you were younger that also has led to your profession?
Yeah, I think a couple of them stand out. Studied growing up at Bandon Dunes, and that taught me a lot in communication and being able to kind of read a person in their personality and being able to communicate with them so that they're comfortable. And I think that sometimes is an often overlooked part of STEM fields, is being able to communicate and get your ideas across to people, and being able to work on diverse teams. Because that's kind of what I've seen in this field is there's a lot of diverse people, and when you try and get everyone on the same team, you're trying to, just get everyone on the same page and have a product that's more than the sum of its parts. The other job I worked in college was at the university bike shop, and that was just great because it was the perfect opportunity to just tinker on bikes and just problem solve, and just like pull apart a rear hub and just like all these pieces and just like putting it back together. So it was great for that.
Definitely. And what's the biggest challenge or something that you've tinkered with?
That's a good question. Yeah, I guess maybe probably just going back to the bikes, whether it's my bike or someone else's. A lot of times your bike problems will start with a certain sound, and then you go from that sound. It's like, okay, what could that mean? Like, is it a rattle sound? Is something loose, or is it like a squeaking sound? So yeah, that's always a challenge.
Definitely, I bet, because so many little parts and
Yeah, there's so many parts, and it's like pedaling the bike and you hear this sound and like you think it's right here,
yeah,
but your ear's not that good. It could be over here. And there's actually, I've seen like books with all the different sounds described.
definitely. And what advice or information would you give to yourself when you were younger?
I guess don't be afraid to just look at all the different opportunities. Like you think maybe this certain field looks good to you, but don't hesitate to explore other possibilities. And like if you say like, oh, I want to do civil engineering, well, that's probably not the full answer to the question, because there's a lot of different fields inside civil engineering. So just keep exploring and see what you like, and you don't have to commit to one thing and stick to it, but just keep an open mind, I guess.
Oh, okay, awesome. And you have any last words to maybe express to the kids that have an interest in STEM profession? Any last opinions, thoughts, or anything that you'd like to say to them, or advice, or things that you've recognized that like you thought you've seen engineering, but now that you've done it, something that maybe you've wanted to know?
Yeah, I mean, I guess just keep exploring and just be inquisitive and curious, and just wonder how things work, whether it's out on the playground, like pushing the merry-go-round in the swing set. Like those have deep concepts in physics that you'll learn about later. But for now, just push someone on the merry-go-round and, how long does it spin? Why does it stop? And push someone on the swing set, and just have fun. Just be outside and just go play and just learn.
Awesome, definitely. Okay, well, thank you for taking time to share your story. It's been really inspiring.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you for listening. We hope you enjoyed our program. STEM Inspired is a project of BC STEM Ventura County's cross-sector network to improve educational outcomes in the STEM fields from early learning to career. STEM Inspired is generously funded by Arconic. Innovation engineered. Please join us next time as we continue to dive into the lives and experiences of STEM professionals. As always, I'm Jacobs in the House. Discover new things. You never know when an interest can become a passion that can change the world. This has been STEM Inspired.